everybody. I'm Angela from Angela Monica, and thank you for joining me today. I want to plant a little succulent garden today to go out on my back deck. Miracle Grow cactus, palm, and citrus potting mix. I'm going to make a little succulent garden, and I've got a little bit of activated charcoal, and I've got some sand and some gravel. And it's just aquarium gravel, and that's just to make the top a little pretty. I bought a few succulents, and so we'll see how it turns out. I've got this one, it's really pretty, and I've got some hen and chicks. And it's got a lot of babies on it, and I'll be able to break some of the babies off and make new plants, either today or another day. I have two more. This one will give me a little height, and I have a plant over here that I have one of these in my house, and so it had some babies, and I broke off a baby. You have to break it off, and then if it has roots on it, it will take off and grow into another plant. You have to leave it for about 3 days to let the roots, to let the any wounds dry before you plant it, so it doesn't get mildew. So I've done that, and so it's ready to plant, and it should start to look a little healthier, and at least I hope it will once I get it planted in the dirt. I've got everything all prepared, and so I'm going to take my my activated charcoal, and I'm just going to put a thin layer in the bottom of my pot. And I think that is really, I think that's enough. As I said, I'm no pro. I'm just playing around a little bit, and I've started to gain an interest in succulents, and so I'm going to see how this does. So we'll learn together, but at least you'll get to see what I did. So I put the charcoal in the bottom of the pot because I don't want any bacteria to grow. So I want to try to keep down the moisture a little bit and keep the bacteria away if possible. I don't have a drainage hole in this container, so that's why I'm using the charcoal. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my soil here and put some soil in the container. Now I have my plants, and I have my potting mix in the cactus and succulent potting mix in the container. So I'm going to start sort of playing around with the placement of the plants to see if I like where I'm putting things before I try to make things permanent. If you have material that's dead, you can sort of clean up your plant at that time. I see. Okay, so I think I like the way this looks. I really do. It looks a mess right now because I've got it all dirty. But I think I like the way it looks, and I think what I'll do is get everything potted, and then I'll find like a little paintbrush and I'll clean off the leaves. And so this I would set right in here. So now I've got the dirt in and arranged around the plants, and I've tapped it down a little bit, and so I just want to gently brush off the leaves a little bit. Just brush off a little bit of the dirt. Okay, let's put a little bit of sand on the top. And all I did was I bought sand that is for reptiles and tortoises and hermit crabs. That's what it said. And I bought it the same spot where I got the aquarium, um, rocks. Thank you, Maya. And you don't have to use sand. You can just use a little bit of sand for decorative purposes, but it's not imperative that you use sand. I'm just using it to make it look a little pretty. And I think it does look pretty. It's a nice contrast against that green, don't you think, Maya? I think it looks good. And I'm not really putting that thick of a layer either. Just kind of going around the pot with a little bit. So I guess if you use only dirt, then if you go to replace the plant or you want to move something, then you don't mess things up. But if you put sand and rocks on it, of course you're going to mess up your arrangement. But I think this arrangement should last for a good amount of time, so I don't have to really worry about messing anything up. And I'm in a tight space here, so I'm just going to use my brush to get in there. The other end of my brush, the handle. But so far I can already tell that I'm enjoying this, and I'm going to want to make some more. I'm going to just add a little bit of aquarium gravel into certain spots and see what it looks like. I kind of like the way that's looking without adding too many of the black rocks. I kind of am partial to the sand, and so I think I'm going to just stop right there. I think I'm going to stop right there and just put the rocks a little bit to the back. And if I don't like it, I'll come back later and scoop it out. Now that I turned the actual plant around to face me, I see some spots where I want a little bit more sand. And that's what's important about doing this and getting materials, is to pretty much look at it, see what you like, and then eventually you'll buy materials that you like. And this is the first time that I've made one of these, and I see that I really like the look of the sand a lot. I like the touch of rocks, so I'll leave that, but I really want to fill in with there a little bit more sand. Really kind of like the way this one turned out. The last thing that you need to do is water it, because when I planted these, they were actually a little, every one of them was dry. So succulents don't need a lot of water, and the best thing to do is to get a big syringe, and then you can water each plant with a big syringe and put just the right amount of water. But for now, I just have my watering bottle, and what I'll do is I'll just add a little bit of water around. That might wash off the leaves a little too. There. A little bit on this side. Okay. That's probably enough water for now. I'll let the water settle and I'll check it later. For the future, what you can do again is get the syringe, and you can target the water exactly where you want it to go, and put it on, put it near each individual plant. I think that's good enough for now. I try not to give it too much water. I'll check it again later. You can water these every 2 weeks. Something else that they recommend is a moisture meter. And this one I found at Lowe's, and it actually is a moisture, light, and pH meter. So it's really nice. And what I will do, and with the succulents in my house as well, is I will check the moisture level of, really not just the succulents, but any plant. I'll check the moisture level of my plants and see if they need water. So I've never used these before. I think it's pretty neat though. You have moist, and then light, and then pH. So that's really neat. So I'm gonna practice using this, and then I'll sort of test the soil level to see how the plants are doing. It's pretty hot today and the plants are really dry, so I've given them a little drink of water. I think they're okay for now. It's a close-up of the meter, and I got that from Lowe's. I think it was about $10. It's not something that you have to have, but it probably is nice to have. That's all I've got for today. I hope you like my little project. I hope it turns out well and that I keep it alive. If you like what you saw today, please be sure to like and subscribe. This is my first video, so I will be posting more videos in the future. My blog is angelamonica.com. I'm a almost empty nester. My last child left for college, and I'm going about life, finding my creativity and trying to find all the things that I enjoy doing. I've always loved planting and gardening with the flowers, and I make jewelry as well. And so this working with the succulents is another outlet for me that I know I'm going to enjoy, because I had a fun time today. And I hope you did as well, and I hope to see you soon.